Hello and welcome to Left Coast Live. It is July 2nd, 2025. I am your host, Dieter McBusiness, joined as always by the one and only Stat Pat, stateless patriot. How you doing,
Smooth,
man?
smooth, Gesundheit. I'm hanging in there, despite fucking, the portal to hell being pried open by House and Senate Republicans as we currently speak. Um, for what it's worth, I guess I'm okay.
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah,
dwell
it's
on
pretty
it.
brutal. So it's going to go to the House. The big ugly bill. Let's start there because that's just the most
Oh
important
my
thing that's
god,
going on right now because irreparable damage will be done to this country
without a
if
doubt.
it gets through the House as is. And shame on all these senators who said they weren't going to back it, like Hawley and
Hmm.
Murkowski and
Yep.
the one from Maine.
Yeah.
Uh, what's her name?
Collins.
Collins. Yeah.
God, what fucking
It's
cowards,
just
dude.
it's just ridiculous. It just barely gets through because of JD
Vance.
Vance's vote.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
Tiebreaker.
absolutely ridiculous, man.
Yeah.
It's absolutely ridiculous. Now I gotta fix my fucking hair. This is outrageous.
No worries. I covered it the other night, and it was mentally exhausting because it really is just the worst piece of legislation to be introduced in ever in
Yeah. No, it's
congressional
Reagan.
history.
It's Reaganomics on cocaine.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
And it's
It's the largest transfer of wealth upward in American history, I think.
right.
Since I mean Trump's term, there's the bill that gave, that gigantic tax cut to the rich
Right.
that primarily benefited the rich, and then of course there was COVID, which was another transfer of wealth upwards.
Right.
I mean, it was a bailout, so to speak, but this, okay, for one, there should not be any bill that gets introduced to Congress that's more than 50 pages. This bill was almost 1,000 pages, and Trump
Yeah.
is trying to like shove it through as fast as possible, so that way it gets passed before the 4th of
Yes.
July. How the hell is the
Yes.
House supposed to go through everything with a fine tooth comb
They're
and
not.
vote? Yeah,
They don't want them to.
yeah, no, exactly. And so it's like,
No, this country's fucked, dude. We were talking before we get on. We might as well pick it up. Like,
yeah, it,
I'm not going to, but part of me really wants to leave the country and just come back when Trump is no
dude,
longer president because it's just a matter of time, right? It'll be, and I just, I don't even know if it's worth living here anymore. I
no,
mean,
same
considering
here.
what's going to happen, it's such a miserable pile of shit politically.
I completely agree. I think about it too. It's like, wow. I mean, I might as well go to Sweden or Ireland or Canada or New Zealand or something like that because I don't want to stay here. I don't want to have to endure this shit. Like it's like there's really no fixing this. Can you count on Congress to reverse the damage that Trump has done in only 6 months? It hasn't even been a full 6 months. Um, let alone this rogue Supreme Court, which is still issuing
Yeah.
the decisions of just immeasurable proportions, uh, the consequences of which will be long lasting and
It's hell.
disastrous.
It's hell on earth, and we're a drug addict, just like looking for a fix, and we're
It's
hitting the heroin
unbelievable.
again. We're hitting the heroin again with this bill.
Yeah,
We're going one last time, and people are wondering, like, did the Republicans forget about the midterms? No, they know they're gonna lose power.
yes, they
They
don't care.
know that they're gonna lose power. They don't give a shit how much power they lose. They want to get in monumental, historic change in their direction.
Yeah,
They don't care. They know how to play the game better than the Democrats. Just pay attention to history. Look at what
yeah,
the Republican Party has done, not just to this country, but to the Democratic Party since 1992
yeah, yeah, no
in the
kidding.
age of triangulation. If I ever get the opportunity to talk shit to James Carville, I am definitely not going to hesitate to put him in his place because whoever thought it was a good idea to make the Democratic Party more like the Republican Party is not only a miserable competitor and a poor strategic mind,
Yeah.
but has no balls,
No
no
kidding.
guts,
Yeah.
no courage to say, no, wait, this is the society that we should be living in.
Yeah.
Healthcare, education, employment, you know,
Yeah. Like it's remarkable because this time.
housing, like
Yeah.
basic rights.
Literally,
Right.
it's insane because like even right now, Democrats don't really even have a clue. But Carville was right when he said it's the economy, stupid. So like, why do Democrats continue on trying to make it about like everything about niche issues when like it people are worried about their wallets and being able to afford shit. Like,
Yeah, but I mean, yes, that's true. I put it in different terms, but I think
hmm
like, just dealing with the Democratic Party really quick,
hmm
they come from a position of, oh, what can we get done? Not what should society look like? What's the vision? What's the 20-year vision, right? What's the generational vision here? And for the baby boomers, they came through and tore a hole in this economy and took as much as they could for themselves. And now they are the investing class.
yeah,
There's a say, people say the working class. Okay, what is the, there's the rich and the working class. Well, here's another way of looking at the rich, the investing class. Most of this country's wealth is built on just owning things.
right.
And that's why the whole argument for socialism and communism and all the other lefty ideologies that are competing for attention, okay, is that the workers own the means of production.
Yeah.
Now, can we get to that utopia someday? Maybe. I'm not going to argue that theory with anyone anymore. I'm just going to go to FDR's second Bill of Rights because it really is that simple. The
Yeah.
roadmap is there, the vision is there. The vision is there. And this is one thing that we can kind of use to talk shit to baby boomers is your parents were way better Americans than you were.
Yes. No. Yeah,
Your
exactly.
your parents were better citizens than you were.
Without a doubt.
So shut up, get out of my politics, stop watching Fox News, watch something else, or like and just get out of the way. Be grateful we don't take away your Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid and use it to pay for a lot of other shit. Because I
Yeah.
bet, I tell you what, if we cut off Social Security for baby boomers, this country would save a lot of money. Save
Yeah.
a lot of money. It wouldn't be right. It would be wrong to do. At least
No,
that's what it
right.
feels like right now. But I mean, desperate times call for desperate measures. So I mean, these class of people, these baby boomers, very few of them are still in the workforce,
Yeah.
and the ones that are just taking up space, and they need to be replaced. They need to be put out to pasture. And the humane thing to do is to let them have their Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. But I'm telling you, man, I'm getting to a place of the practicality being outweighing the values and the morality. Are you okay?
I there's just something caught in my throat. I'm trying to like cough it out. It's just not working.
Do
But
you want to take a break? I can
no,
monologue for a
it's
minute
it
if you
no,
want.
it's all good. I'm pretty much totally in agreement with you because it's like, what recourse is there at this point? Like, what exactly do we do? And it's like,
Yeah.
I look I to my usual places for, I guess, reason, and it gives me a bit of comfort in finding reason and assuredness from various figures, some on the left, some not even politically um, uh, engaged. Well, not engaged, but as politically inclined, I guess you could say. And because ultimately it's like we've been talking about basically like this whole second term so far is finding outlets, finding escapism, just to maintain the mental sanity that is remaining, and is I mean because it's being stripped away on purpose. Like they want
Yeah.
us to be scared. They want us
Yep.
to be, you know, unsure of what's going to happen. Like the uncertainty and the fear is kind of the point. And for better or for worse, like the market, for example, we still have no idea what's going to come of the tariffs. Is there going to be a Liberation Day 2.0 after July 9th? Who fucking knows? But the markets hate uncertainty. So it's like
Right.
how much will this administration kowtow to external pressures? Because when it comes to the justice system, they're just giving, they're just receiving handout after handout, like victory after victory. You know, district courts and federal judges can't even hold injunctions on the actions of the
Yeah, I
executive
know.
anymore.
I know.
What the fuck, So like,
Most people don't even know what that means.
no, yeah. So
That's
it,
what like I want to. There's we could do a reaction video to this one guy I think you'd like because it's about
sure,
Mamdani and
yeah,
hold on, let me bring it up. But you were making some good points.
no, yeah. It's like now when it comes to our constitutional rights being protected, everybody who has their rights violated by the executive branch needs to file lawsuits individually, needs to file civil cases individually. Like the courts aren't there to protect them anymore. Like what the fuck is going on? It, it, it's so fucking insane right now. Like,
Yeah, well, war is insane. War is insane. So
yes,
it's understand. It's the appropriate label. I mean,
right,
war is illogical.
yeah.
Um, it's a waste of time, money, and resources.
I think
At
we've
least
watched
if
this
your
guy
goal, if
before.
your goal, if your goal is to, yeah, if your goal is to make society better from generation to generation, which not everybody has that goal, bear in mind. Okay,
No,
so this
not this
is Nick
branch.
Shirley. We are back with Nick Shirley. It's been a while,
Hmm.
but the guy wants it so bad. He wants intellectual credibility so
Yeah.
bad, and he gives you just enough to like make him feel like he's a little bit credible. But
Hmm.
watch what I mean. He completely misrepresents, aka straw man's Mamdani's positions. Check this out.
Okay.
Zoran Mandani, he's a self-proclaimed Democrat socialist. Some people are calling him a communist. Do you think communism would work well here inside of the largest city of America?
We're going to go full communist. This is not going to work out well. There's enough of these old white men. It's time for a change.
Hey, Megan.
Government grocery stores. Good idea or bad idea?
Where's that money coming from? Taxes?
You think New York City will fall if this guy is elected mayor?
Oh, there's no question. It's already barely surviving.
Today I'm here in New York City, and
Okay.
today we're asking New Yorkers
Just
here.
off the bat, it's like he's not a communist, and also
I
two,
know.
like, yeah,
I know. Wait, he
no
gets into
shit,
defund the police. He acts like he's for defund the police too. He
right?
completely Not only does he misrepresent Mamdani's position, but
Everybody
he
is
misrepresents New York because
Mhm.
he's in. Watch where he is. Check out the backgrounds. He's in like the nicest parts of New York, and Manhattan in particular.
right.
So this is all the place where like, oh, Cuomo and Capital gotta
No, yeah,
capital is the most important thing.
yeah, and then of course the two girls that he just talked to who look like they're probably not even old
Watch, they're
enough
gonna
to
get to
vote.
them. We're gonna get to them.
Right? Yeah. I mean, taxes. Yes, that's where the funding would come from. So if
Yeah.
anything, they wouldn't be because Megan says government grocery stores sketchy though. To be honest, it might just be public funding into grocery stores, so that way they're a lot more sustainable. They're not relying so much on profit, and if that's the case, they don't have to jack up prices so much. And if that's the case, if it all works out well, that would bring down the cost of groceries from other chains and other grocery outlets because they then what's up, leather hack? They then have to compete with these publicly funded stores. Hello, BCAT, good to see you. And if that's if it, like I said, if it works out properly, it brings the cost of everything
Yeah, try
down
it.
for, yeah, like give it a shot.
It's New York. You got enough
do
money
love
to make
Zoran.
it work. You got enough money and resources to make it work. Let's give it a try.
Yes.
Come on, New
Here,
York.
who they're going to be voting for their next mayor. Right now, just recently, a man by the name of Zoran Mamdani just won the primaries for the Democrats here inside of New York City. He's a self-proclaimed Democrat socialist who's running on ideas such as freezing the rent, $30 minimum wage, defunding the police, government-ran
Lie.
grocery stores, and free buses for everyone here inside New York City.
Yes.
So everything there was accurate except for him
Defund the
running on
police.
defund the police. That was
Right.
bullshit.
Yeah.
He actually specifically backed away from that crap.
Yeah,
So
what
come on,
I
Nick.
really like about Zoran Mamdani is like when he's asked about each one of his policy ideas, he gives a detailed breakdown that is succinct, understandable, relatable, and easily digestible. And free buses, he actually made a really good point. Like I think he pointed to an example of how free modes of transportation drop crime because there's
Yeah.
less assaults of the public transportation drivers and conductors and all that. And it's like, why wouldn't you want that? You know?
So the specific tax hike would be 2% on it would be a 2% increase for people making over $1 million a year in
Yeah.
New York City. In the
Which
five
is nothing
boroughs,
to
which
them.
is- yeah. So, but it's only mentioned like once, I think.
Mhm.
Donald Trump has came out and called him a communist, and right now on prediction markets like Polymarket, he has a 71% chance of winning this election next to his competitors like the current mayor, Eric Adams, Curtis Silva, and Andrew Cuomo. And if you want to track this election with Polymarket, you can use polymarket.com. Let's hit the streets. Here we go. Who would you like to see win the mayor race here in New York?
Zoran Mamdani,
And why so?
because he represents working people and is offering policies that counter the establishment and that resist the influence of billionaires over this city. And yeah, he's the working people's
This
candidate.
guy.
What's your favorite policy of Zoran?
Taxing billionaires.
Here we go. Yes.
What do you
yes.
think about
like
this guy potentially becoming
now
the
that
next mayor
guy's
of New
half
New York
awake,
City?
kind of stoned, and he gets like the fundamental.
fundamentals.
Yes.
The basics, dude. Just the basics. Listen to this though. This is pretty superficial. I'm disappointed by this reaction.
Oh, hell no. No, I don't like that guy, man.
And what do you think will happen if this guy wins?
I have no fucking idea, but I was here when Dinkins was the mayor, so
yeah.
I know bad times.
gonna be
I
just
was
like
complaining
that.
about Adams, but I would take him 4 more years than that guy.
Who would you like to see become the next mayor here in
Wow.
New York
He
City?
doesn't even ask why. He doesn't even ask him why does he feel that way. Come on, Nick.
Yeah,
do
be
your
a
job.
little bit more
You
consistent.
claim to be legit. Here comes another Bernie nerd.
Mamdani, of course.
Why so?
I really like what he says about the rent freezes are a big one for me. City-owned grocery stores are also a huge factor for me. I don't use the buses that often, but that's pretty cool for the bus takers of New York.
How do you feel
Wow, a New Yorker with empathy. You found someone in Manhattan
This is like
that
the
actually gives a fuck about the people riding the bus.
bingo.
Isn't that nice? What a great city.
And there was not too long ago there was the what was it like the mass increase on tolls for like the highways that go around New York City, like the freeways and
Yeah.
whatnot, and because of those increases in tolls and whatnot, traffic plummeted. Like it, like
Right, everyone's taking the rail system. Everyone's taking the subway.
yeah.
Dude, if you ever go to New York, everyone obviously New York is expensive no matter how
Uh-huh.
you go. But if you want to save money and you know how to manage your time and you like walking, take the subway. It's awesome. It's part of the experience.
No, for real.
Totally part of the experience. All right, get back to Nick Shirley. Shirley Nick.
you feel that this guy could potentially be the next mayor of New York City?
Dude, we're doomed if he's mayor. I mean,
Okay, definitely a business owner, by the way.
we're gonna go
Yeah.
full communist. This is not gonna work out well. And I've
So
resisted
the biggest difference between this
leaving
guy,
New York.
biggest difference between a guy like this and those nerd kids that are actually a bit more in tune with Mamdani and is great with
His message,
tax the billionaires and whatnot. They actually have somewhat of an idea what they're talking about, whereas this guy just like he doesn't have a fucking clue. You asked.
Pretty sure there's some Islamophobia going on.
Probably. I mean,
pretty sure with this guy, there's some Islamophobia going on.
Yeah, I mean that's the only card that they have to play against him right now.
Pretty sure there was some Islamophobia going on with one of the previous guys too. But here we go.
Right.
For many reasons over the years, but
smear him as a
I
communist.
think this is going to be the final nail in the coffin, and I won't be able to survive in the city with him.
Sure, but
No way.
If this guy wins, you're leaving.
I'm gonna have to. I mean, my business will be destroyed.
See?
So
Told
dramatic.
you most
So
about him being
dramatic.
elected.
I'm worried about
he has a
there
business.
being
Yep.
complete, total chaos, and our mayor actually promoting
Yeah, the
chaos.
landlords, the business
promoting
owners, like,
and allowing all the protesters, all the peaceful protesters to do their thing. And
Absolutely,
it's
Latino.
going to be really scary.
And this guy right now who's running for mayor, he is one of the fellow protesters himself.
Right. It's scary. I mean, seeing him get in the faces of the police
This is it.
that are supposed to protect him. I saw that one video where he's in the face of, I think it was state troopers, which, they're here to protect the governor and mayor sometimes.
Yeah,
And
they hate their
Completely missing the point. Completely missing the point. He was
Right.
going after Holman, you fucking idiot. Because
Yeah.
Holman's a fucking Nazi, dude. Because Holman's a fucking Nazi. Know your shit. You don't know the ignorance, right? I always give the South and maybe even the Midwest a hard time for being fairly ignorant, but there is some serious ignorance going down in business owners in Manhattan, I guess.
No.
I guess that's what the takeaway is. What
Yeah.
the fuck, dude? He was being a righteous progressive. He was being a righteous change agent in that moment. That moment was gold for his campaign. Tell you how
Yes,
out of
it
touch it
was.
is. If you own something of serious value like a business, your perspective of the world changes.
Mhm.
You put far too much value on capital.
Yeah. I mean, Megan here. Usually, I appreciate her input a lot because I get a lot of my charitability from approaching it like, okay, where exactly are some of these people coming from? I mean, a lot of it does 100% amount to ignorance for sure. But she says, Mamdani explains his plans well, but yeah, for a lot of people, you look at those base policies and see the problems that have come before. So some policies that don't pan out the way they should because of, several mitigating factors or whatever. But for people like this guy, it's just ignorance. He just wants to protect himself, and he thinks it's a sort of entitlement. And also,
Yes.
yeah, Megan's don't forget my econ degrees. I haven't. Go ahead.
All right, back to the business owner in Manhattan.
and
You spelled
I
it
don't
right,
know what
Megan. You
he's
spelled it right.
thinking. I mean, he wants to get rid of the police and have social workers protect us. How's that going to work?
And who are you going to be voting for?
Sliwa, definitely. He's the only choice, in my opinion.
Would you guys want to
Who?
vote for a self-proclaimed
What, the
Democrat
Republican?
socialist?
Is that
Look
who
at
it
that
is?
cute dress. I wonder what kind of politics we're gonna get here. Oh my
Right.
god! All right,
Face
Any
cake,
predictions?
face
No.
cake
In
in
New York City.
and makeup.
No.
What do you guys think about the ideas of defunding the
wealthy.
police and a $30 minimum
See, he
wage?
just whips it out like defund the police, like that was one of his core policy positions, and it's not. Jesus Christ, Nick, come on, man.
I think that's nuts. That would be so hard to maintain.
Yeah, I
that would be
that's a little
ridiculous to
hard.
maintain. I don't like the whole defund the police things. I think if anything, fund them more, get training better when you defund them.
Yeah, no idea.
The police are the good guys, and the minorities and the people from the boroughs, they're like
Oh,
the bad
man.
guys. That's like the East Coast. That's the East Coast equivalent of the Valley Girl. You get the Valley Girl stereotype from the Southern California
No,
chicks.
of course.
And this is the East Coast equivalent. This is the Manhattan fucking princess. Right
Yeah, no, I mean the you can kind of tell just the way they carry themselves, the over exaggerating makeup, the bag is probably worth
The
maybe
fuck me
$1,000.
cutoffs.
No, god damn. I mean, they probably follow the most cheap TikTok, Instagram, Facebook pages that you know,
Probably perfectly
regurgitate
nice. Here's the thing. Here's the
cheapest
thing.
conservative talking points that have been like said over and over and over relentlessly with
Yep.
no thought put into them. It's like defund the police spending. It's like no second guessing, no further questioning. Oh, like what exactly does this mean? What would this entail? What exactly would the results of this be? Do people actually mean what they say when they say the police? No, those extra thoughts don't go into that shit at all.
And Nick's got a responsibility to be asking those questions, and he's absolutely, of course, not doing it because he's a little bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Where does that do?
Government grocery stores. Good idea or bad idea?
I don't. Where's that
What is
money
that?
coming from? Taxes?
Yeah.
Where's the money coming from?
Dumb bitch.
I think that's insane.
Who do you want to be the next mayor of New York?
How do you say his name?
Zohar.
Yeah.
Cute.
Mamdani,
I
why
already voted for him. So in the primary. Yeah.
What makes you want him to be the next mayor?
I think we need to switch.
Zoran, man, it's such a great name. It's too bad that like this guy couldn't remember, but oh man, he's gonna have to be dealing with that for like the next.
No, Nick here doesn't even spell his last name correctly in the title of the video. You switched the last M.
Mamdani? Oh, it's
Yeah.
Mamdani, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't even notice that. That's hilarious. All right, this
to
guy's a
switch
pro.
up. I want someone young, ready to go, really changing and focusing on the younger generation and just really making the city, giving it something new. Como, we need something fresh, and we got to get him out.
Right here, we have some Democrat for Mayor Zoran signs outside here in the East Village. Would you like to have a Democratic Socialist mayor of New York City?
Democratic, as long as they're like for the people, I guess. Yeah, like as long as they're fighting for people's rights.
Do you like the idea of socialism?
Depends on the person.
For instance, a lot of people have been fleeing a lot of countries that are kind of like socialist governments or communist governments.
He's so
Trump's
leading.
been calling him a communist.
Right.
And
He's just
countries like
leading him down the
Venezuela,
road.
Cuba, Nicaragua,
Yeah.
those countries are very communist countries.
Mhm.
A lot of them came here these past 4 years to leave that. So do you think it'd be a good idea to bring it here, communism, and see how it goes?
Oh Jesus.
As long as we're like allowing people to get to safety here, like
I love how she stays strong. It's fantastic. She's like, she's like not treading into deep water and acting like she knows more than she does. And she's just like, well, as long as the candidate, she's focusing on the person that's going to have the power. Isn't that a novel idea?
like absolutely, yeah. If that's what that means.
Okay, so just like communism happen here in New York City?
If it's, I don't know. It just depends on the person and how they're using their
A
power.
little side note,
And who
like,
do you support for
it
mayor
was
here?
bothering the shit out of me. But her shirt, there's like a logo on her shirt, and it's a logo for a band, and I can't fucking remember what it is. It's bothering the shit out of me. Go ahead.
New York City.
Not that
True,
guy
Megan,
Zoltani, whatever his name is.
Zoltani.
I used to like the governor Cuomo.
Ah,
I don't know
no.
about him right now to be a mayor. You know, one of the New York millionaires came out and he said that he would sponsor any like free runner, someone who's like from outside, you know, and maybe that would be a good option.
Really? So now millionaires are coming together saying we got to find somebody we can fund to make sure that this Zoran Mamdani guy doesn't win.
If he wins, a lot of business will go.
Jan, you've been on the channel a few times now, and now that the mayor
This guy's
might
from
be
Moscow.
potentially Zoran Mamdani, will you vote for him?
I can't imagine anyone I would vote for after him. I think I would vote for, that truck over there over him. No, put mildly, I will not be voting for him. My hope is that many other people will not be. The only thing I can really say is I am concerned. From what I've heard, only about 5% of New Yorkers voted for him. So in the primaries tend to be low turnout elections. So fringe candidates do better because they have a lot of energy, and then the regular voting mass just doesn't. The hope is that a lot of different people coalesce behind Eric Adams because this is
No.
unacceptable. It's one thing to have Los Angeles or Chicago have some fringe, DEI mayor. But
Okay,
here's another
hold
to have
on.
this
DI mayor. There it
Oh
is.
yeah, that language says a
DI
whole.
mayor. The guy is incredibly talented, incredibly intelligent. All you have to do is listen to him talk, and the guy doesn't even give him a chance.
New York City.
Like that's the thing about the conservatives. When Trump came along, they're like, "Give him a chance, give him a chance." They won't give anybody on the left a chance.
Yeah.
Anybody who cares about money, they won't give anybody on the left a chance.
Yeah. So how often does New York City have a Mayoral election every 4
4 years.
years. Okay,
Yeah.
so right here, 2020. Okay, so Mamdani got 500. What is, I think it's on the screen there, 545,000.
50,000,
Yeah, votes. In the so it was the primary, the first round. And this was like, oh well, I mean, more people vote in the general. So I'm looking at the general election right here for 2021 New York City mayoral election. Eric Adams won against Chris Saliwa, the Republican who's running again, as far as I know. 753,000 votes to 312,000. So it, like, because Mamdani is the Democratic ticket, like, Eric Adams is not going to take, like, running as an independent is not going to take away that many votes away from Mamdani, especially with
Right.
Curtis Sliwa last election only got 312,000 votes compared to Eric Adams 753,000, and Eric Adams isn't even that fucking popular to begin with. Sorry, go ahead.
That's all
Yes,
good.
yes, Megan. Eric Adams is running as independent this time, and there's rumor that Andrew Cuomo might run as an independent as well, but that would probably just
Hey,
split the vote.
ABS dude, sorry to hear about this. He's got a healthcare bill that's over $1,000.
Oh
We found a
no!
mistake. So,
Jeez. Well,
trying
okay,
to
good. Yeah, yeah. No,
hopefully
that's
to
never
get that
that's
resolved, man.
yeah,
But
that's
there you
never
go,
something
the
fun to deal
healthcare
with.
system at work. All right, let's get
No,
back
of
to
course.
this.
Yeah.
Let's get back to this
I think
communist hater.
Mamdani's gonna win.
Oh wait, listen to this. Listen to this.
Communist who's 32 and whose mom was a Bollywood millionaire director who has never worked a day in his life and is a failed rapper try to run New York City. That's not, New York City is not a city that we can sacrifice to Islamism or to communism. There's too much here.
Islamism,
too much
dude.
real estate. I don't know if it works the same way. I don't think people can just look past New York the same way and let it go.
And why do you think it'd be a bad thing to have an Islamist as a mayor here in New York City?
You want to look at an example of a Western city that's had a effectively Pakistani Muslim mayor. You look at London, right? And London has become unlivable, high crime,
Not even
gangs,
true. Like,
extreme prices.
barely
Only the
even
very rich and
fucking
very poor can
true.
afford to live there. That's effectively what would happen
You just
here.
said
Gangs, extreme prices. Only the very rich and very poor can afford to live there.
only the very rich and the very poor can afford to live there. What are you talking about, dude? The poor can't afford to live anywhere. They're fucking
Yeah.
That's effectively what would happen here.
Another one of Mamdani's policies is to defund the police and bring in a new group of police that would just be outreach and be helping people here on the streets. What do you think would happen to New York City if Mamdani does go through with another one of his policies to defund the police?
Portland, Oregon is what will happen, except with tremendously more crime. It's a much larger city. Pharmacies will close. Many stores will close. The same liberal white women that voted for him will be targets of both robberies and assaults on a constant basis. And then, only then, will people realize that some of these changes are very hard to undo. Very hard.
And remember this guy because we'll be coming back to him later in this video. You as a Jew, how do you feel about potentially having the first Muslim mayor here in New York City?
It's not about the Muslim mayor. It's about his policies.
Yeah, what do you think about his policies? Him not
very bad.
And what do you think about him not declining or saying no to the globalizing that?
He's a cool guy, actually.
I'm not looking for chaos.
Do you think government-run grocery stores is a good idea?
No.
What about defunding the police?
Horrible idea.
What do you think will happen in New York City if they do defund the police?
I think it'll go. I mean, it's already a dangerous city. I think it'll get tremendously worse. I think it's horrible for our kids. I think it's horrible for our elderly. I think it's just a horrible idea. I don't know why I would ever defund the police.
And would you vote for Zohran Mamdani?
Oh, definitely not. New York would be in bad shape if Mamdani got elected, for sure. I'm an immigrant, so I came here from nothing, and I was able to build a future, to give a better future for my kids. I come from a country that's pretty much social. Italy is a pretty social country. It doesn't work here. This is a capitalist country, and Mamdani is trying to make, not even socialism, he's trying to make a communism country. I mean, just go back where you were.
What do you think about government-run
I
grocery
mean,
stores? Would that be a good idea?
even America.
Not at all. That is totally.
Even
He's
America.
focusing on grocery stores. Like, he's not really talking about the free transit as much. It's kind of annoying.
Yeah, I mean, and even like currently, well, I mean, a whole lot less so now that Trump is president again. But America has always had a sliver of socialism operate, it's not a strictly capitalist country, and not to mention the programs, the public services and government programs and whatnot that have been implemented and maintained for the course of decades now are widely fucking popular. But you don't this is never conveyed to normies who just hear the baseline slop from conservative media and shit about like how bad socialism is. these same slop media sources never talk about how popular a lot of these public services and government programs are and how effective they are as well.
Right.
Totally wrong. I mean, it would not make any sense in a country like United States. I mean, I think it's wrong anywhere in the world, but United States, it's like this country is capitalism because you can come here and become somebody. You can live a simple life and just
not
live
anymore,
get
dude.
your job,
Not
work
anymore.
for the
Did you
company,
hear?
or you can rise the ladder and become somebody. You know what I mean? And hopefully give more.
Not any fucking more, dude. Like if you're brown, if you're trying to come here to like have a better life for you and your family and your kids and whatnot, you better not have a fucking criminal record, or fucking you're going to get denaturalized. Even if you're fucking naturalized, you'll have your citizenship stripped away. You'll be fucking shipped out of the country to God knows fucking where before the goddamn courts can even catch up with your case. Because if you have your citizenship stripped away, if you have your if you become denaturalized, your rights are few and far between at that point. They like if you have any at all, because they don't fucking give a shit. They're trying to speed up, streamline these processes so that way there's no legal recourse, and they try to limit it to like a civil litigation rather than a case about your rights, and that allows them to fast track these deportations, and it's been happening to actually like U.S. fucking citizens too. So far as criminals, but right now ICE is actually detaining more people without criminal records than they are with criminal records at this point, and they're getting like $175 billion from this big beautiful bill. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Bigger fucking budget
More
than the
opportunity for your
goddamn
kids.
Marines.
I guess that's what his parents did for him, right? So they moved from a different country to come to the United States.
We'll
They built a
wrap
good
this
wealth
up.
so he could be educated, and he's trying to.
Sorry, go ahead.
Wrong for someone to start a business here in New York.
Oh, I voted for Mamdani.
And what makes you want to vote for Mamdani?
Well, if he wasn't running, I would have voted for Cuomo. But when Mamdani entered the race, it's like, there's enough of these old white men. It's time for change. That's why.
What makes you excited about potentially having the first Muslim mayor here in New York City?
Why not? They had it in London. So why not?
Would you like New York City to become the next London?
No, I'd like it to stay in New York City. But one thing about Mamdani, not since JFK, and I can say this, have I ever heard a politician speak that felt so honest as he did.
And one of his goals is to make the city pretty much Trump-proof by making enough money through other streams of revenue, like extra taxes on the rich, to not need money from the federal government.
Yeah, I'm up with that. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Would you like to see New York City get Trump-proofed?
Yeah, that would be good. That would be good. There's no ICE agents, are there?
Yeah.
Something that's interesting about Mamdani is he's 33 years old. Yeah. He was born in Uganda, and now he's been here in the United States since he was 7 years old.
Yeah.
Do you think people should be able to run for office if they're not born here in the United States?
Something like mayor, okay, yes. He's an assemblyman right now. Like president, that's a whole different story. But he's been elected as an assemblyman. He's now been elected as a primary candidate for mayor in the Democratic Party. And a lot of people voted for him and didn't vote for others. So, I mean, it's going to be kind of tough to support him.
Who would you like to see become the next mayor here in New York City?
I think Cuomo might be the more practical choice, but I do find that Zadami, after listening to other people's comments, I would let him go with it, have a go at it. Can't do any worse, I think. And I think he's a young guy who might have some interesting ideas that the old timers might just fall into place with old time views.
Zoran Mamdani, he's a self-proclaimed Democrat socialist. Some people are calling him a communist. Do you think communism would work well here inside of the largest city of America?
I don't think that communism really even exists. If you look at Russia, China, they're truly not communists. They're just as capitalized and they're controlling and they're not
somebody
even
finally
what you would
fucking
expect
said
communism to be by
said it.
definition. So it doesn't really exist.
And some of his policies are such as government-run grocery stores are $30 minimum wage, or they're going to.
I can't do this guy again. I can't do this guy again.
No, yeah.
All right. You know what?
Real estate.
That's
People
good
just
enough. Thank you, Nick. That was fun, but we've had enough of you. Hey, thank you everybody for tuning in. If you haven't liked, share, and subscribe already, please do so. Please subscribe because I could use the numbers. Stuck a little bit north of 500 and be nice to hit 1,000 by the end of this year. That's about the pace. That's the realistic pace. I knew some guys who started up a YouTube channel and they wanted to get to 100,000 a year. I'm like, yeah, good luck, guys.
All right,
man. I mean, it does happen. Like it does. I shouldn't be so cynical, but it's it's not easy out here.
Just to give an answer to Megan here, who's asking a question about what I said earlier. Can you give the stat for detainments? Because I said ICE is detaining more people who don't have criminal records than do.
I think it's 6%, isn't it?
No, right?
6%.
Right now, okay. So right now, according to let's see here, the data from the Cato Institute, 65 of those detained by ICE since the fiscal year began had no criminal conviction whatsoever. Furthermore,
65%.
Yeah. Furthermore, 93% of those detained had not been convicted a violent offense. Sorry, I just can't really speak very well right now. So this data indicates that a large number of ICE detentions are not related to criminal activity, but rather to immigration status.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
And thank you, Latino Mifune. How would you pronounce that?
That's probably how I pronounce it, Mifune.
The Soviet Union and the like didn't abolish capitalism as much as they instituted state capitalism as an alternative. Yes, hence state-owned enterprises, excuse me, SOEs. Get to know them. Google China and state-owned enterprises, and you will learn a lot about the fundamentals of China's structure, which makes sense for how many people they have. I mean, you can argue with I mean, they've got problems, but hey, an ambulance ride in China is like $20, and in America it's like $3,000 or something.
God, something fucking crazy.
Yeah,
and
they're doing a lot of more right than they are wrong.
And they make sure that they don't have anybody who's homeless either. You know, they actually have a rigid system for that. You know, they have rent control. They actually have public housing. They have a whole lot more in terms of guarantees for their citizenry than Western capitalist countries do, especially the United States.
Yeah.
Megan wanted to know if you can link the channel that we were just watching. It's called Nick Shirley, right?
Yeah, hold on, I'll get it for you.
Okay.
It's Shirley, Nick Shirley.
Put him with an Irley.
Yeah.
Okay. But how many of those 65% were legal is the important part. Let me actually look that up again. How many?
Here, I'll put
here we go.
Link to the video we were just watching in the chat.
I have no criminal record. 23%. Let's see. Hold on. I extended to target migrants pending of criminal convictions from inauguration day to May 4th. 44% of those arrested had a criminal conviction, while 34% of those arrested had pending charges, and 23% had no criminal history, according to the data. Let's see. Recent data indicates that nearly half of the detainees held by ICE have no criminal history, while some reports suggest the number is closer to 65. ICE often emphasizes deporting individuals with criminal convictions. The data reveals that a substantial number of those detained are non-criminal migrants. It doesn't distinct migrants from not like illegal immigrants, undocumented immigrants. At least from this, I could probably do a little bit more digging.
It's a mess.
No, of course, yeah.
They're just trying to hit numbers. They're just trying to hit. Oh,
they'll give
10,000. We have 10,000 detainees today.
Yeah,
like they're just going out and detaining people.
Yeah,
it's not complicated, guys. Never get caught up in use the numbers, know the story of the data, but don't let it bog you down from reaching the conclusion that conservatism fucking sucks.
Right.
There's nothing good about it.
I mean, this is beyond conservatism at this point. This is like shit fascism. Like
it's fascism.
That fucking
even my father, even my old man that I talk about in my early videos, successful business type, and he even admits this is fucking fascism.
Right.
He admits it.
No, of course. Megan's corrected me. No, she wanted Dieter's channel linked. And I thought, because she says, I think I follow him, but if not, no, let me actually text it to you. I thought you were talking about the Nick Shirley channel, but I thought you followed his channel, but I will go ahead and leave that to you right now. Yeah, it really is just about stoking fear, honestly. It's about hitting those numbers so that way Stephen Miller is pleased because he threw a tantrum.
And Holman,
God, fucking Holman, dude. Apparently, Holman's getting a little upset because him and his family are being harassed and threatened and whatnot. He doesn't feel safe because of his role, his position of authority. It's just like, boo, motherfucking who, dude? Yeah, resign. Get the fuck out. It comes with the fucking territory. If you're going to be a soulless fucking pig and rip fucking families apart because you're a soulless fucking pig, fucking resign. Like, you chose this fucking life. You want to be a fascist? You'll get treated like a fucking fascist.
There you go. I'm rubbing
Yeah.
off on you, man.
Yeah, of course.
I'm bringing this out on you. That's great. Hey, so it's been a super long day for
Oh
me, so
yeah.
I'm gonna wrap. I'm
Me-
gonna wrap soon. But are
Me
you gonna
too.
keep going?
No,
Yeah, okay.
I'm probably gonna check out as well. I worked a pretty long day, and I was working during the hottest part of the day. It was like 104 degrees in like Folsom or whatever, and it was hot. I'm exhausted. So nice short, little succinct stream to cover just a handful
Yeah.
of things. There is the the Elon and Trump drama starting to flare up again because Elon really doesn't like this bill either, and honestly, no one fucking does. No one does. But none of the Republican senators or congressmen are fucking. They don't give a shit. None of them give a shit.
Yes, ABS, we did see that. StatPat brought it up, and I
Yeah.
did not know this. They literally based their ruling on a monarchy court. Actually, I think I did read that somewhere, but that's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. All right. Well, reminding everybody in the audience
Normal
that
last
you
two, I
don't
don't
get
think
change
so.
in America by asking nicely. Please catch us again. We will be back. You'll see us on Blue Sky. Announce what our we will definitely be going Tuesday of next week, July 8th. That is
yeah.
when we'll be back. Tuesday, July 8th is when we'll be back on Left Coast Live, and I will be back on this space next week, next Wednesday at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. All right. Until then, know the heart, but vote with the head. And don't forget, you don't get change in America by asking nicely.
For sure. I'll try, Megan. I'll try. And I'm out.